Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land. How's everyone doing today? Sending you all lots of healing, love, and light. We're all one. Todo somos uno. Muy bien. About to read some more SAVITRI. It's good stuff. And again, y'all have to apologize for my sniffling and sneezing and snorting and all that. I've had horrible allergies these last couple days. Hopefully, when I move out of Houston to Oregon next week, I'll have different allergies to deal with. I love you all. Thank you for joining. So this is the start of Book 3, the Book of the Divine Mother, Canto 1, The Pursuit of the Unknowable. All is too little that the world can give. Its power and knowledge are the gifts of time and cannot fill the spirit's sacred thirst. Although one of these forms of greatness are, and by its breath of grace our lives abide, although no more near to us than nearness self, it is some utter truth of what we are, hidden by its own works. It seemed far off, impenetrable, occult, voiceless, obscure. The presence was lost by which all things have charm, the glory lacked of which they are dim signs. The world lived on, made empty of its cause. Like love when the beloved's face is gone. I still remember what she looks like. I still remember her face. The labor to know seemed a vain strife of mind. All knowledge ended in the unknowable. The effort to rule seemed a vain pride of will, a trivial achievement scorned by time. All power retired into the omnipotent. A cave of darkness guards the eternal light. A silence settled on his striving heart. Absolved from the voices of the world's desire, he turned to the ineffable's timeless call. A being intimate and unnameable. A wide, compelling ecstasy and peace felt in himself and all, and yet ungrasped, approached and faded from his soul's pursuit, as if forever luring him beyond. Near it retreated, far it called him still. Nothing could satisfy but its delights. The absence left the greatest actions dull. Excuse me. His presence made the smallest seem divine. When it was there, the heart's abyss was filled. Excuse me. But when the uplifting deity withdrew, existence lost its aim in the inane. The order of the immemorial planes, the godlike fullness of the instruments, we turned to props for an impermanent sense, but who that mightiness was he knew not yet, impalpable yet filling all that is. It made and blotted out a million worlds, and took and lost 1,000 shapes and names. It wore the guise of an indiscernible vast, or was a subtle kernel in the soul. A distant greatness left it huge and dim. A mystic closeness shut it sweetly in. It seemed sometimes a figment or a robe, and seemed sometimes his own colossal shade. A giant doubt overshadows his advance across a neutral, all-supporting void. Excuse me. Whose blankness nursed his lone immortal spirit, allured towards some recondite supreme, aided, coerced by enigmatic powers, aspiring and half sinking and upborne invincibly he ascended without pause. Always a signless vague immensity brooded without approach beyond response, condemning finite things to nothingness, fronting him with the incommensurable. Then to the ascent there came a mighty term. A height was reached where nothing made could live, a line where every hope and search must cease. Near some intolerant, bare reality, a zero formed pregnant with boundless change. On a dizzy verge where all disguises fail and human mind must abdicate in light or die like a moth in the naked blaze of truth, he stood compelled to a tremendous choice. All he had been and all towards which he grew must now be left behind or else transform into a self that which has no name. Alone and fronting an intangible force which offered nothing to the grasp of thought, his spirit faced the adventure of the inane. Abandoned by the worlds of form he strove, a fruitful worldwide ignorance foundered here. Thought's long, fair, circling journey touched its close. In ineffective pause the actor will. The symbol modes of being helped no more. The structure's nescience bills collapsing failed. And even the spirit that holds the universe fainted in luminous insufficiency, in an abysmal lapse of all things built, transcending every perishable support, and joining at last its mighty origin. The separate self must melt or be reborn into a truth beyond the mind's appeal. All glory of outline sweetness and of harmony, all glory of outline sweetness of harmony, rejected like a grace of trivial notes, expunged from being silence, nude, austere, died into a fine and blissful nothingness. The demiurges lost their names and forms, the great schemed worlds that they had planned and wrought, past taken and abolished one by one. The universe removed its colored veil, and at the unimaginable end of the huge riddle of created things appeared the far-seen Godhead of the whole, his feet firm based on life's stupendous wings, omnipotent, a lonely seer of time, inward, inscrutable, with diamond gaze. I like that. With diamond gaze, attracted by the unfathomable regard, the unsolved slow cycles of their fount returned, to rise again from that invisible sea. All from his puissance born was now undone. Nothing remained the cosmic mind conceives. Eternity prepared to fade and seemed a hue and imposition on the void. Oof, I want to read that again. Line 104. All from his puissance born was now undone. Nothing remained the cosmic mind conceives. Eternity prepared to fade and seemed a hue and imposition on the void. Whoa. Eternity prepared to fade and seemed a hue and imposition on the void. That's how big a void is. Space was the fluttering of a dream that sank before its ending into nothing's deeps. The spirit that dies, not the Godhead self, seemed myths projected from the unknowable. From all it all sprang, and it all called to cease. But what that was not thought nor sight could tell, only a formless form of self was felt. This is like the last part of the experience when I was up out of my body, dead in the hospital, but out of my body on a cloud, where I met Sri Aurobindo for the first time. Well, the only time I remember in this life. Or, well, I wasn't in it. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. So I was in front of he ushered me to the source, which would be the still white magnetic light is what I called it. That's all I've been able to like really put words to describe it. It was just a still white magnetic light that pulsed vibration. It didn't speak, but it didn't really talk in symbols either. However, upon reading this, I feel like this is what he ushered me to, and on the other side of it was this void, this unknowable, the place that the spirit that dies not, and the God-held self seemed myths projected from the unknowable. From it all sprang, and it called to cease. That spot right behind that's what was on the other side, and I had a decision to go back or go into the light. I chose to come back and represent my star family here on Earth. New Earth equals new heart, which is going to be heaven in Earth. One. Okay. The spirit that dies not, the Godhead self, seemed myths projected from the unknowable. From it all sprang in, and it is called to cease. But what that was, no thought nor sight could tell. Only a formless form of self was left, a tenuous ghost of something that had been, the last experience of a lapsing wave before it sinks into the bournless sea, as if it kept, excuse me, excuse me, as if it kept even on the brink of naught, its bare feeling of the ocean whence it came, a vastness brooded free from sense of space, an everlastingness cut off from time, a strange, sublime, intolerable, inalterable peace, inalterable, silent, rejected from it, world and soul, a stark, companionless reality answered at last to his soul passionate search, passionless, wordless, absorbed in its fathomless hush, keeping the mystery none would ever pierce. It brooded inscrutable and intangible, facing him with its dumb, tremendous calm. It had no kinship with the universe. Wow. There was no act, no movement in its vast, still white magnetic light. Life's questions met by its silence died on her lips. The world's efforts ceased, convicted of ignorance. Finding no sanction of supernal light, there was no mind there with its need to know. There was no heart there with its need to love. All person perished in a namelessness. There was no second. It had no partner or peer. Only itself was real to itself. A pure existence safe from thought and mood, a consciousness of unshared immortal bliss. It dwelt aloof in its bare infinite. Holy shit. One and unique, unutterably soul, a being formless, featureless and mute, that knew itself by its own timeless self, aware forever in its motionless depths, uncreating, created, and unborn, the one by whom all live, who lives by none. An immeasurable luminous secrecy guarded by the veils of the unmanifest, above the changing cosmic interlude. I'm covered in goosebumps. Guarded by the veils of the unmanifest, above the changing cosmic interlude, abode supreme, immutably the same, a silent cause, occult, impenetrable, infinite, eternal, unthinkable, alone. Period. End of Canto 1. Holy moly. So, I'm mind blown because Gus D, you'll know what I'm talking about. Found myself standing in front of this still white magnetic light up on the cloud out of my body, and it had to be the source of all things. It is. It wasn't moving, wasn't talking, but it projected me so much information just through its being, stillness. And I felt one with it, and I knew it was one with everything. And that's where I got the love and light, all healing, love and light, all one. Basically, within that, what I gathered, those words within that, everything that it told me, which was a whole lot more, exists in those three words: love and light, all one. Um, and as I was standing in front of this light, I was seeing things behind me, hearing things, and what just struck me as real is that it was telling me, yes, come, you're with you're one, you're here, you're home. You've done everything you needed to do. However, it told me I wouldn't be happy if I didn't come back and finish out this cycle. I would actually, in fact, start over from the very beginning of the next in the same vibrational frequency and go however many thousands, 100,000s, who knows, lives to get to where I am now to witness what we're witnessing now. I would be so disappointed that I'd start all over in the same frequency, harmonic universe structure to get to where I was. That just seems silly to miss out on what was coming, which is, in my opinion, heaven and earth meeting in the middle for fiesta, forever, all one. So, what struck me as interesting now that I just read is that it was telling me these things that I should have emotion attached to with them. Like, oh, you're home, your family, yes, you've done a great job. But I was getting these with no emotion. It was emotionless, but true. Truth without emotion. Now, at the same time, I don't know if they were in the hospital at the simultaneously time, but I guess time is all simultaneous. It's all happening in the moment and now. So I heard and felt with love emotion from the human heart that we come down here to earth to experience. That is so true as well and so needed. I felt human emotion, love from the hospital room, my father praying for me. And I felt human love from my brother Gus D, talking to the pulmonologist, chewing him out, telling him it's been 11 days. You need to take him off this breathing machine. This is way too long. Fighting for me, but with love in his heart. And those are two of the part of the human emotion, the love we have here. We don't have that anywhere else. And I was right next to the source. And I didn't feel anywhere close to the, not that it's not there. I'm sure it is all there. Everything. But what I'm saying is, it was so real. The feeling of my two comrades, my father and my soul brother, down on earth. I can feel them in the moment and now, and I still can. That love is so strong. So, thank you for listening. And this book, I met Sri Aurobindo. He was the one who ushered me off the cloud after I flew around all these worlds that they talked about. Like, this book is describing my third death experience, near death experience, when I left my body and all kind of beautiful things happened and I came back a totally changed person, never to be the same. I hope y'all are enjoying this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. I love you. I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to go make a quick dinner. And I already walked the dog, so I'm going to get right back to reading because I love this. This is so enjoyable. Thank you all. Sending lots of healing, love, and light to everybody. All parties involved. We're all one. So if you're open to it, you get it instantly. It's yours. Take that. I love you. Victory to the divine light. Todos somos uno. Muy bien.